Welcome to Start Lines and Swag Bags. The airing of this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended to replace advice from professional medical or training staff. Thank you for listening and your support of the Flying Pig Project.
I am very excited about tonight's episode. So if you listened to the first episode, I talked about this test episode I did with some people who couldn't control their wanting to use special effects and fireworks and all that. And it turned into 10 minutes of three adults just staring at the computer and being amazed by special effects. But I'm absolutely thrilled to have them back tonight. It is Marty and Liz. Marty is my editor. Liz is his wife. And Marty, I love it because if you do it this time, you own it. It's yours. You get to edit it out.
Well, I turned them off, so we're not going to accidentally run into that problem.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Introduce yourselves.
I'm Liz Colts. I like to run.
I'm Marty Colts. I also like to run.
Everybody's strapping. It's going to be one of those episodes. All right.
Be a lot of work for me, I think.
Right. So, all right. How do you know me?
I think you should answer this one.
We met at Run Club at Wednesday night at the track. I'm pretty sure. And I think I heard you talking about what you do as a profession, and I was like, "Hey, sounds familiar. I think I might know you." Yeah,
that is true.
Then I just inserted myself into your conversation.
First of all, everybody should insert themselves into my conversations so that I don't have to talk. But you are completely correct. And yours was a case of it's a small world after all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that
very small.
That was honestly the whole thing. But I know I can say I've definitely benefited from the fact that it was a small world. Marty, so far, the ones you've edited and the fact that you have to edit this one, they've been fantastic. And I can honestly say, and now I'm going to say it like live on the pod, we would not be where we are right now if you hadn't have been like, can I edit the episodes?
I mean, I was very excited when you sent the email. So as you know.
And so I don't know when this one's going to air because, of course, I don't know how long my editor is going to take to work on it. But I know that I just put up episode 6 to launch tomorrow. So we are in it.
It's pretty amazing.
I love it. All right. So now, of course, the actual topic of the podcast, Start Lines and Swag Bags, came about because I lost all my running stuff, rebuilt it, found swag, couldn't believe the swag that had been given away, could not believe some of the swag that people have now told me that they've gotten at races. I don't know if you heard Nicole's episode, but at the end of her race, somebody offered to measure her and then give her weight loss advice.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's got to be hard pass. So
it is the worst one I've heard so far.
So far is the key there. So the question that I pose to you both is best swag or worst swag or both and props,
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to start with best or worst?
Well, I don't have a good worst. I have a good best.
Okay.
And I have it with me. So I think this was 5 years ago. I did a Ragnar in Aspen, and it was a trail one.
Yeah,
so
6 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 6 years ago. It was the first Ragnar that I've ever done, the only one that I've ever done. And they gave what can only be described as a tactical spork as the
Well,
swag. So, oh yeah, it's got the year right there, 2019. So that was 5 years ago. There's the year right there.
the year right on it.
Yeah. But it's this spork that is like it's like thick metal. And it's got a whole bunch of different things. So it's got the bottle opener. It's got like a wrench here. It's got a saw. It's got that's a can opener.
Oh, I think Eva likes to light things.
Yes. I mean, it's good for all sorts of purposes.
That's like a little Swiss Army medal.
Yeah. It's a pretty sweet. I don't have any other medals that I can use in any other way other than like putting them on the wall, but I could actually, eat with this if I wanted to. I never have. I've never taken it anywhere.
I've never seen you eat anything with it.
No.
You don't have
But I could.
You don't even have one medal in your collection which will also act as a bottle opener. I think that's a standard type of medal.
Wait. Is the hidden gem a bottle opener?
Yes.
I think that one is. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You win this round.
Yes.
The hidden. I do have another one that I can use, but it doesn't have a wrench on it.
Well, that's true. I mean, obviously the two medals are for two different emergencies.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
If you want to call it that.
Yeah. So that's the best. I don't think I have some of the clothing has been pretty good. F3 has some amazing clothing.
Yeah.
And I wear that all the time.
Oh, that sweatshirt we just got back
To
in.
like zip up with the hood.
Yeah. The one this
that's
past
amazing.
year was awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So maybe that's number one. Maybe number two. This is the most unique, the tactical spork.
You can
my
have a favorite.
least favorite is an article of clothing. It's
Yeah.
the women's cut technical tee with the cap sleeves.
Just as like a general principle, that one's a bad idea.
Not it.
Well, I mean, I can only agree with my whole heart because they are not only are they genuinely awful, but when they use the Nike brand, they literally run smaller than running an off brand.
Yeah, but like we're all athletic people showing up and we're like, we got things going on here that don't.
Your shoulders.
Yeah.
That's absolutely, but okay. But do you have a best?
But actually, I went and grabbed, this is what I wear the most. I know it just looks like a hat, but it is a hat that actually fits my enormous head.
What is that from the Run to Wrigley?
This is from Colder Boulder. So if you've heard of Boulder, the 10K,
Yeah.
they do a Colder Boulder in the winter.
In my defense, it does look a little like a Cubs logo.
It does. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yes, a little bit. Yeah, but there's a mountain on the inside of the sea.
Yeah.
And it's fleece lined.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to tell you that like the hat, I think one of my other episodes is literally going to be about all the races I love that have given me hats, because I think that is like a perfect piece of swag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
It is a really good, good piece.
I didn't realize you had trouble finding headwear for your ginormous head.
It surprises even me.
Yeah. We have exactly the opposite problem when it comes to hats.
My head is a little bit too big and Marty's is a little bit too small.
Really small.
Anyways.
Wait, no, hold on. I have something I'm going to point out. And I hope you leave it in. Marty, is your mustache gone?
Yes, it is gone.
Okay, yeah, I know a lot of you were like, "What?" Okay, that's an inside joke, and I hope he leaves it in because it's very funny, and it's our little inside joke. Well, it's not our little inside joke. You had a mustache. I mean, that's not.
It's true. I did have one. Yeah. And if we still have the original recording of this episode, I had one in it.
I do have the original recording, and we will have to get a picture.
We can get some photos for the show notes.
For the Okay. All right. See, I knew this was going to happen. You know what? We sit down to try to do an episode, and it's just, we're going to laugh the whole time through.
I think this is going great.
Well, of course it is. And Marty has, even meowed a couple times to give his approval. All right. Advice. Now you have to tell me the best or worst advice that you've ever gotten that you would like to share with someone else.
So the first thing is, I wouldn't say it's like the worst advice. It's just something that maybe I'm not entirely clear on. It's like, are we lifting heavy or are we not lifting heavy? That's the because I hear both sides of it and they're both logical, and I'm just not really clear on what we're supposed to be doing.
And what have you, now that you're post marathon attempt, what is your stance going forward?
So what I personally do is when I'm not in a training block for a race, I lift heavy. When I'm in a training block for a race, I have really great intentions, but I don't lift at all.
So you lift light.
So I lift light.
Low reps, lightweight.
Yeah, low reps, lightweight. And then the best advice that I've gotten is to be consistent in your training. So that's helped me a lot. I think before 2017, I was fit, but I just wasn't very consistent in my training. And I didn't have a base, I didn't do any base mileage when I wasn't training for a race, and I just wasn't very consistent. And so once I built up that base, and even if I'm for whatever reason not running a week, I at least have aerobic and cross training stuff. So,
all right, Marty, advice.
I think the best piece of advice, I don't think I didn't get a piece of advice from somebody, but I've sort of picked it up from a lot of different places over time. And it's really about running your easy runs easy and your hard runs really hard. Liz does not like that. There's I think there's a lot of debate on the old internet about that sort of training approach, but
also you don't even like it.
I don't like it. You're right. But lately I have started I switched my easy runs to time instead of mileage. And that has helped me go much slower and much easier on my easy runs.
Really? Why do you think that is? Why do you think switching from time to distance is helping you slow down?
The other way around, from distance to time. So now I run.
Right.
If I'm going to go in the past, it was okay, you've got a 5 mile easy run on the schedule.
Right.
So I have to run 5 miles. I don't know how long that's going to take me, but maybe I've only got,
a set amount of time,
40 minutes of a break. So now I got to get in 5 miles in 40 minutes, which means my pace has to be something. And, right. So I'm working backwards from the amount of time that I have to fit the distance, which forces a pace. If I switch it, so now I'm I have a 45-minute easy run. It doesn't matter how far I go. I'm going to run for 45 minutes, and I've been a lot more focused on heart rate.
Uh-huh.
And so as long as I'm in the zone for the amount of time that is on the plan, it doesn't matter how far I go. And I've like sort of told myself, like, my lungs and my heart don't have any idea how far I've gone. Doesn't matter how far I've gone, as long as they've worked to a certain level for a certain amount of time, they're getting the workout that they were supposed to get. And then my legs are ready to go when, it's a tempo run or a Wednesday night speed workout. And I feel like over the last even month or so that I've been doing that, I've gotten back to like running with group one and finishing those workouts and being better able to handle the like really hard workouts. So for me, it seems to work.
First of all, I love the way that I love that you brought that up, because I think it's such an important strategy for most people. I really do.
It's not like the most fun thing to do.
Oh, I've always felt like the easy runs are the hardest runs that I do, because they're just like kind of boring and you're not going very far. So you don't like go anywhere. And yeah, so like, I think they're very tedious.
It takes a special kind of discipline to do a lot of those runs. And the example I'm going to give is, when we talk about doing like the 80-20, 80 is supposed to be slower and the 20 is supposed to be faster, we go back to just everything being relative to the individual. If my race pace at my best was, a 10-minute mile, then an 11-minute is kind of like an easy pace, but if you are someone who runs with, group 1 or group 1B, as we've joked about now. You're going at a 6:15, 6:30 pace on your speed workouts. And yet I see you doing Strava at like a 10. And there is a lot of mental determination that has to go into doing that.
You have to tell yourself that it really doesn't matter what gets posted. And also, for me, this is really an experiment. I don't know if this is going to equal good race performance or it's going to be the right way to do it. But I guess like I've heard this approach from a lot of different people, citing a lot of data on how, elite runners train and the paces that they're actually training at when they're running their easy days. And like, if you look at their marathon paces versus their easy paces, I should be running 11-minute miles on my easy days if I'm like going to be anywhere in the same training realm as what they're doing. So
you're 100% right. Of course, we're not trying to tell people, how they should train. I like when you said, you're doing it. It's your own personal experiment. You're saying how it works for you. And advice, there's a big problem with advice in that somebody tells you to do something and you're following what they're telling you to do. And sometimes if it's not working for you, well, was it the advice or is it you're not able to do it?
Yeah.
And the slower thing, I am going to pick on, definitely not by name, but the marathon obviously was yesterday. Well, not obviously, because I don't know when this is going to go on, but the Chicago Marathon was yesterday. And, I saw a lot of people do fantastic things and finish this marathon. And I noticed that their race pace of their marathon was very similar to a lot of their long runs and a lot of their workouts.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes up. It is different for everybody, but in my brain, I'm like, well, that would never have worked for me. And that's, if it worked for them, it's fine. In my heart, my heart's still like, slow down, but okay. All right. So we've done swag. We've done advice. Favorite running distance.
I think for a long time I've been really sold on the half, but now like the full marathon has really captured my attention.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know if that's because I like it. So with that, yeah.
Does anybody really like it?
I think some people do.
I think Nike just came out with like a great ad, which was like, if you don't hate running a little bit,
You don't love it enough.
love running.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. So I know you guys went down and watched a little bit of the marathon. And I also know that Nike did have a lot of billboards around. But apparently there was one that said, congratulations on completing half of the half of the half of the half marathon.
Really?
It was like a 5K or 10. And they posted.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one either.
And
That's hilarious.
I will try to verify that. But I because they did, all of their signs were kind of like, I mean, I love them because they were like irreverent, and which is of course.
I saw one that was like, at least the road to hell is flat.
Yeah. That was next to the marathon
map.
course, right? Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it? I think that possibly was at the expo.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's I really like that Nike kind of did that. I think that's
Yeah.
call it what it is.
Yeah.
It's just... All right. Wait, why is the marathon your favorite distance? Like,
Oof. There's such an allure to it. Like, kind of once you've had a taste and you want to like continually improve, you can't let it go.
Okay.
Even like after it's not so nice to you.
Yes. Well, here's the thing, but it happens. I mean, it can happen to anybody at any distance at any time.
But that's part of the allure, honestly, I think, is like you never know what you're going to get. It could be amazing. It could be terrible.
That's true.
And you've put so much work into it. It's like, you take your chances. And sometimes I want to say like you bought your lottery ticket, but that's not what happened, right? Because you didn't. A lot more work went into it than just like putting some money down.
But but all the work you did was all good for you. I mean, it was all.
Yeah.
So I look at it, okay. Marty's kind of making a face. I mean, like the 18 and the 20 milers and all of that, I mean, it's hard work. Don't get me wrong, but.
It's also kind of fun.
I mean, I tried it once. I'm never going to try it again. And people keep saying never say never. Listen, I will never, ever again attempt a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Marty, help me out here. What's your favorite distance?
Well, I mean, I was going to say the half marathon. You might have just sold me on the marathon.
Up until very recently, my favorite was the half.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never would have considered changing.
I mean, watching the marathon yesterday was incredible. Seeing a
world record.
Yeah, seeing a world record, seeing that like elite group, seeing some of the people in our group like crushing it.
Yeah. It was cool to be at mile 25 and see people like in the pain cave.
You were at 25?
Yeah, we were watching at 25. So to see the people that, you train with every week and that look on their faces, I was like, ooh, you are in it.
Yeah.
Rachel, I have to tell you something funny. So we were watching at mile 13 and I got really excited because like we saw so many famous people, right? And so we saw like Emma Bates go by. It's like, oh my God, come on. We saw Sarah Hall go by. I'm like, oh, Sarah. Like all Gabby.
Gabby, yep.
I was like, yes, Gabby, get it. And the lady next to me, she goes, wow, how do you know all these people?
I would have been like, oh, we're tight. Yeah.
We go way back.
Yeah. We have Sunday morning brunch together. We're tight.
I mean, fun fact though, Liz made Gabby Rooker's tracksmith poster.
I stamped it for her
last
year when she qualified for the Olympic trials.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty special.
See, one degree from.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And you met, so she didn't come to the booth, but her training partner did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they said the time and I was like, what?
That's really cool though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That was fun.
So wait, so you're both now on the marathon bandwagon then? So the favorite.
Well, we've both very recently registered for marathons coming up
in the spring.
In the spring.
Yeah, spring marathons.
Which ones are those? Would you like to divulge?
They're both revenge marathons, actually.
No, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I could see Liz as being a little bit of a revenge marathon, but you already had your revenge marathon.
No, I want revenge on that marathon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, no, okay. Champagne was bad.
Champagne was bad, and I want revenge.
And but you did one after that.
No, I'm going back to Champagne to get revenge.
Oh, okay. And Liz, you're going to do that one too?
No, I'm going to do a different one.
She's got another bone to pick.
All right. I mean,
our revenge marathon's a thing. Is that just in our house?
No, you know what? I think revenge races just in general, I absolutely, I believe in them. And I think they do have to occur on the same kind of, like I know someone last year who ran Chicago and it wasn't the race that they thought it could be. So this person did, Indy like 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
And it's not the same race, but they are very similar in that they're flat and all of that. And they busted out a PR in Indiana. So that to them was kind of like a revenge race.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of did that with Illinois this year.
Yeah.
Because I did the one, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks after it.
Yeah.
But that didn't, that I didn't get satisfaction from that.
Well, how many times have you done the Champagne one?
I've done the marathon in Champagne twice now. And actually, neither of them were very good. So I really need revenge.
Well, I was talking to, actually, I don't think you haven't edited his episode yet, but he was also at Champagne this past year.
Oh yeah.
And when he brought it up off air, he and I were talking about that. You had actually done it this past year, and it was definitely not what you had hoped.
It was not good. Yeah. And the first time I did it was very similar. It was hot and gross and terrible.
Well, those April races, those are very tricky.
Yeah. Sometimes we've done the half marathon there a lot.
Yeah. And
some years are really good and some years are not very good. So if you get a good year, the course is great. So
because that's the last weekend in April.
Yeah, that's 26, I think.
Yeah. All right. So big marathons for both of you. More marathon distance favorites. Okay.
Yeah, I think that I'm gonna say that's my favorite, even though like I kind of hate it, but I also love it in the same way that I kind of hate running, but love it.
Well, but that's the whole thing with running. It's like I don't necessarily know anybody who, I guess actually we do know people who just really love it. I mean, they actually do love it.
Yeah.
But there's obviously some hate mixed in there, because I think if you're not to the point where you actually hate it a little bit, are you really doing all you can?
Yeah. And I think like, I love it when I'm not doing it, if that makes any sense. Like I love the
After.
Yeah, like when you're in like an interval or you're on like, 3/4 of the way through a long run, you're like, why do I do this? This doesn't make any sense at all. And then you finish, you're like, oh, that was great. I loved it. Or like, a day later, you'd feel really good. So yeah, it's like,
That's true.
you just love it when you're not doing it. And sometimes you hate it in the middle of it. Sometimes you don't, though.
I think I agree.
Complicated.
For the fact that like, oh, running, it's an easy sport, it's an inexpensive sport. No, it's none of the above.
No.
It's not cheap. It's not easy.
So hard.
Yeah. But I think running as a sport can be cheap. It doesn't have to be expensive, right?
It could be cheap.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I have to remember this podcast, like if it wasn't for running, this podcast would not exist. And so people are now listening to us be like, it is so hard. You should not.
I don't. That's not what I'm not
You
saying.
should definitely do it.
It is hard, and you should do it.
Yeah.
If it was easy, it would be really boring.
Well, if marathons were easy, everybody would do it. I mean, if half marathons were easy, everybody would do it. I mean, it depends on the individual and their level of what they want to be.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there is no running distance that is easy.
No. I think the scariest distance is the mile.
Mile is brutal.
Oh my God.
But even like 100-meter stride, you can that can be really hard.
You can destroy yourself on that. Yeah.
That's very true. Every element of it, it's like, well, it's kind of like pick your heart. So
right.
Some people view that mile as, depending on the effort you decide to put into it. All right. Switching. Interesting that you had that experience at the marathon, but who's the most famous person you would like to meet?
So also, when I was walking down the street when we were spectating, I made eye contact with Laura Green. And the only thing I could think was, Laura Green, I love your work. And I froze. I couldn't say it. And then she was gone. I was like, Marty.
I was in front of her. And all I felt was her grabbing the backpack on my back and yanking it. She was just, Laura Green.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think she's hilarious.
Hilarious. Yeah. I was just stunned. I couldn't.
You were awestruck by Laura Green.
I was. Yeah.
But you had the opportunity to meet her.
Whoa.
And you declined.
I froze. But if I were prepared, if I knew ahead of time that I was going to meet someone, I wouldn't freeze.
Would you choose her?
I would choose Stefan.
Yeah. She seems cool.
Yeah. Well, she talks about how before every race, she's really upset, really nervous. Why did I choose this? What have I done? What did I sign up for? I can't do this. And it's very relatable. It'd just be interesting to hear more from her perspective of how she gets over that feeling.
I don't think you should ever get over that feeling.
Yeah, because you want to keep doing hard things that scare you, right?
Yeah. All right, Marty, who are you meeting?
I think I I would choose someone in the Laura Green category,
Run fluencer.
like a run fluencer. Yeah. I think Robbie from The Drop.
Robert Redinger.
Robert Redinger. Yeah. He would probably be someone that I would like to meet and would maybe have the most opportunity to actually meet.
You could have met him yesterday.
I know. That's why I say like he's kind of around, and I think I get I guess similar to Liz, a little bit starstruck when I see people who I either follow or know, but clearly don't know who I am. So there's that weird power imbalance there. But I feel like Robbie,
that's not what he's about.
No, I think you could probably have like a reasonable conversation about just about anything, running related or not. And he's just like a cool guy that would be interesting to talk to, but has gotten a lot of interesting perspective in running because of his jobs. He gets to go to a lot of events. He meets a lot of people. He's like, kind of in the community. So it would be kind of cool to just, have a conversation with him about running and some of the stuff that he's done and his kind of take on things. Anyone any more famous than that, I would have nothing to say to them. Other than like, I
also thought Cara D'Amato's family, because they all had their hats that said, does it say Go Kira on it? They'll wear these red. I didn't say hi to them either.
The fact that like people know this about her family, doesn't that seem
creepy?
Yeah.
I don't know. They posted on social media. It's not.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the thing. Like, we know so much about them, and they have no idea who you are.
Yeah.
So like that's what I mean with a power imbalance of like, I know a lot about you. you have no clue who I am.
Oh, so you think you have the power?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you know all of the details and they know nothing.
When you said power imbalance, I didn't think that's what you meant.
No, I think it's a weird, like,
maybe we're going too deep here.
I could throw some real like curveballs at you that you won't see coming because I know all these things.
You're starting to creep me out.
Well, I'm just saying that's how I feel when
you see someone,
when there's somebody that I know something about, I want to approach them as like, hey, what's your name?
You want to be equal.
We're strangers. You're nobody. Let's like have a conversation like people who just met, but also it doesn't feel like we just met because I know so much about you.
No, funny fact. I agree with you wholeheartedly because there is a TikToker who I follow who's local to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually saw her at F3.
Oh.
And it was just literally, you know, when you start and before we go down the stairs, you're all packed like sardines having to go down the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, she literally was like next to me. And I have been following her for many months. So I did know a lot about her personal running journey. And I said, oh, I know who you are. You have no idea who I am. And we had a little back and forth, and she took a picture with me that she ended up posting in like a montage. But I see where Marty's going with it because like I knew what she did the whole week leading up to that race.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hi, it's nice to meet you. Crazy eyes. So yeah. I can see what Marty's saying.
It feels very strange to me, but
yeah,
I don't know.
No,
I mean, even like with just the episodes that are up now, some rando could be some rando probably is, and I didn't mean that disrespectfully, but like
All you randos out here listening to this, we love you.
somebody could have, literally fallen onto this particular podcast. And God help me if I'm out in public somewhere and they're like, oh my God, we've been listening to you. I have to admit, that's kind of weird. All right. Favorite race? This is the ultimate question. What is your favorite race?
So there's a turkey trot in Rockford that I've done one time because we aren't in Rockford for Thanksgiving very often, but it's run by their local running club. And when you sign up, they tell you it's about 3 miles long, give or take a little bit. And we're not going to show you what the course is. It's at this park. And whoever predicts their finish time most accurately wins, but you're not allowed to wear a watch or have any timing device.
It's amazing.
So you don't know how far you're going to run. You don't know really under what conditions you're going to run.
No.
And you have to, how close was your prediction?
I don't think it was close at all.
No. So the problem was that there
are bottlenecks.
There are bottlenecks on the course. So it was actually a hybrid between a cross country race and a trail race.
Yeah.
So you start in the grass.
Yeah. So you show up. It's pretty cold. It's drizzling. You kind of gather in a field, and you're all they're like, "Hey, go to that end of the field." Everybody
about here.
Yeah, stand over there. Yeah, a little over there. And then some guy in the middle goes, "All right, go." No gun or anything.
No,
and you're
it's better that they don't have guns.
You're like, "Go where? Where are we going?"
That way.
Just go that way. And so you sprint across a wet field, and you get to a trail where everyone then has to go single file.
Yeah, so you wait in line at the trailhead.
And you go over a dam, and then you enter the woods, and you're going through the woods. And then there are some stream crossings where some volunteers are waiting, and they hold out their hands to you, and then they fling you across the stream.
I mean, the rain and the drizzle, they don't bring that in every year, I don't think. just our years.
That's our year.
That happens to be the case.
They do. They
ordered it up, yeah. Rockford is very connected.
So
and then you come out of the forest and you have to go through the field, but first they make you do some sharp turns.
And then finish up a steep hill. And then you can see how close you were to your predicted time.
There's some obvious questions I have. Is there an age minimum, I guess? Like, are there children in this?
I don't remember any children, but
I don't remember.
Their lives in the wet grass is all the adults.
I mean, it's a turkey trot, so you get like the whole family.
Yeah. I mean, we could look it up. They still do it, so we can see if there's. But I don't think any of it was like particularly dangerous.
I mean,
were there signs like "Go here"? Like when you got into the woods?
You're on a trail. It's like a fairly well-marked trail.
It's a predictable trail. Okay.
Yeah, and you're never
alone.
Yeah, you're never alone. You're never that far from the people in front of you because they have to stop.
It's with everybody.
Yeah. So then you wait patiently until it's your turn to go across the street. And then you go. You're like, oh, I see how this could be very hard to predict a time.
I mean, there's like a big part of me that's like, yeah, I see. I would absolutely do that. That's like,
it was very fun.
I would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. If we hadn't changed kind of what we do for Thanksgiving. And now we have another Thanksgiving turkey trot, which I have my eyes set on a win.
Every year, Marty's goal is to win the turkey trot. It's always the same contenders.
Yeah.
Which turkey trot? Or do you not want to say because,
Then he might get some real competition.
No, I already have real competition. These kids are like high school cross country kids, so I'm not.
But that's the whole thing. It's not like necessarily other adults that'll take you out. You get some 17-year-old who's running varsity and they'll kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm not I think I was first in my age group last year. I was like third overall.
Yeah.
It's just the
teenagers,
the 2 or 3 other cross country kids that come out there that beat me every year. That's another creepy thing. I'm just going to go creepy. The kid who won it has won it several years in a row. And so I've been watching his times. I go to the race results website and I'm seeing like, okay, I know
what you're working with.
I know what kind of times you're running here. I think I could get you, but
also you don't know what he looks like. So
no, I do, because I saw him at the beginning of this last one.
Yeah. And you encouraged him. You were like, all right, let's go, man.
No, the guy that won, I saw him at the beginning and then I didn't see him for the rest of the time. But he was very fast.
You know what? People do that at every race. People who are trying to.
I've heard creepier things.
Yeah.
In terms of like competitiveness at races.
I'm not going to like go take him out or anything.
Oh, I've heard of people like building up like local like nemesises.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like seeking out races so that they could take on these particular.
I believe that. I think
yes. Or people will like see who's already signed up for a race and be like, no, because
yeah,
I can't win that one.
One of the other guys in the running club was telling me about all of his strategies.
The care strategies.
Yeah, the care strategies for like picking races that he knows that other people aren't at, because then he can get
our club.
Yeah, no. This was a different club full of, most of them had mustaches, so you can't really trust them.
Even if it is the same club, it was a different club.
Yeah, it was definitely a different club.
Well, but even to your point, and this has come up on another episode, there was a time when I really did pick the little teeny tiny little local races. One, because I like them better. I like little races.
They are very fun.
I don't like 15,000, 20,000 people. But at the same time, then there's like only 2 people in my age group. So I always win my age group.
Isn't that the best?
And I'll take it because, I want that medal too. All right, Marty, your favorite race?
I mean, I really liked that turkey trot that we did. That was the most. That was probably the most fun I've had at a race. So, I mean, not to be boring, but I think that has been my favorite race. The race that I've done the most is the Illinois half. I think we did that the first year they had it. That was the first race I had ever done. Was that one? Yeah. And then we did it every year after that until, I don't know, because we came back.
Yeah, I don't know.
Several
years in a row. So in terms of sheer volume, that's a good one.
It's, as I keep asking this question, and as I myself am trying to whittle down to my absolute favorite race, the reasoning behind the races people pick varies.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Sometimes a race does get chosen simply because it was the most fun you've ever had. in my first episode, 4 on the 4th, which got eliminated by the Pettit Indoor Marathon. I love 4 on the 4th.
That indoor marathon sounded amazing.
Well, first of all, indoor marathon relay, let's not. But like the Pettit was, and I still stand by this right now. I still have, well, I don't know when this will air. Okay. But when this does, I still have all the other eliminations. And I don't know that one's going to take Pettit out as like my all-time favorite, because it was the whole thing all together. And what I accomplished, like, I didn't even think I could do it. And that's why that became my favorite.
Yeah.
Some people, it's their favorite because their parent was with them at the finish line, or they ran. So there's so many different reasons.
Yeah.
So it's not that, it was a boring race. First of all, I don't think that race was anything. Boring is not the word to describe that race. And it's just, I can totally see that being someone's favorite race because it's just different.
Yeah.
Do some people say that like their PR is their favorite race?
I'm trying to think back to the episodes that have happened so far, and I don't think that actually has happened yet.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
They've been for other reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have our reasons why something's our favorite. It's it's the experience and not necessarily the time or the episode.
I think it's the races like that. There are a couple up north that we've done that are like, they're low stakes, but they're very fun. I'm not going to say poorly organized, but the organization is just like, it's real loose.
There's a Nordic Center up there, and in the winter or in the summertime, they irregularly schedule these races. They're not annual races or anything like that. It's just like, we kind of got it together this year. And they do the race on like the cross country ski trails. And it's kind of a different course every time that we've done it, but it's usually pretty rugged terrain, like a lot of hills up and down, rooted out trails, tall grass, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's all like, you get all types that show up to it.
The announcer is like a Northwoods, northern Wisconsin sort of guy. And I just remember him saying like, it's a 5K. These kids are pretty fast. They should be coming in here around 16 minutes or so. And he was like saying this on the PA, and the first place guy comes around and it's probably like 17 or 18 minutes because it's not a flat 5. It's like,
no, it's a trail.
Yeah. And he's like, wow, a lot slower than we expected. Around the corner, like into the finish. And I'm just like, okay, this is amazing.
Oh my God.
So it's just like,
you know what?
And the start line's like about here. We're going to go about this time. It just
run
so
in
much
that
fun.
direction.
Yeah, we're going to go that way today.
If I finish and you say to me, wow, that was a lot slower than I thought you'd do. That's right up there with, can I measure you and help you with your weight?
It's, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I love the charm of those kinds of races.
Well, and then after that race, they didn't have like any finisher medals or anything like that.
Oh, those are good.
And so they had all the age groups come up and they like announced like, oh, this is first in the age group, second, third. And then they had this basket of things that you could choose. And they were all
this is going in the show notes. We'll have a
get a picture. Yeah. They were all rocks that had plastic bugs glued to them. different plastic bugs.
There's a fly. I don't remember. We had 2.
No, we have them upstairs on our bathroom counter.
Yeah.
It's just not necessary.
But you get to choose. They're like, which one do you want? If you like were lower place, you got last choice of bug. But the race was called the Muggy Buggy.
The muddy.
Oh, that's cute.
The Muggy Buggy.
Yeah.
Muddy?
Muddy buggy because there are lots of bugs.
Yeah.
Because you're in the woods and muddy.
In the summer.
It's a little swampy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's a bug, but.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, so thank you.
You know enough about us now.
You rando listening to this.
All right. So to wrap it up, thank you very much for being on the show tonight.
This is a blast.
I'm sure this will be a wonderful thing to edit. You already have your little swag bags that everybody gets.
We do.
And it's okay. You don't need to show them.
I mean, they're
because
I can get it.
Because the others have been getting them in the mail.
Yeah, we have it. They're here.
Okay. Well, oh, there you go. There. Start lines and swag bags.
Here we go.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.